What's up, baseball fans? Welcome back. We're going to continue doing our 30 on 30, but now we are shifting divisions. We just completed our Central, AL, and NL Central. Now we're going to move to the West. And for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen these yet, I alternate every day. So I'll go National League West, American League West, NL West, AL West, until all 10 teams in the division are completed. And then I will move over to the East next. So if you want to see the teams in the Central that I've already done, take a look down below. And what I mean by that is I'm going over their off-season outlook, identifying some of their major needs and what I think they should do versus what I think they will actually do. And it's also a revolving door because now we're in free agency, so things might change. Free agent signing might happen after a video that I've already done and so on. So what I'll do is I'll mention it in another video. The only signing that we've had so far is Robbie Ray, signing a one-year deal to return to the Toronto Blue Jays. That's what we've got so far. But the GM meetings are coming up, and then the virtual winter meetings are coming up, and I think they're all virtual. So that's generally when things start to really cook. But there'll be some moves before that, obviously. But today I want to focus on the 2020 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers. By the way, if this is your first time, welcome to the channel. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell next to it so you don't miss out on the other videos. And always take a look in the description. I have 100+ videos out for your enjoyment. So hope you enjoy it, and make sure you hit the thumbs up. By the way, it's really helpful to the channel's growth. And my regulars are the best. So the Los Angeles Dodgers. What can I say? I mean, they had a phenomenal year, and they made the biggest move of the offseason last year. The co-biggest move. I should say it's the biggest trade by bringing in Mookie Betts and David Price, and I think that trade put them over the top. They were already an Uber team. Now they're an Uber-Duber team with not really many holes. I mean, there might be a need here and a need there, but they're one of the unique teams that over the past 5 years have made some shrewd and bold moves, but they're one of the few teams and handful of teams that's a World Series contender and has a top 5 farm system at the same time. It's usually not like that. So it's pretty crazy. They've brought in some guys, forfeited some prospects, but they keep developing prospects in such a manner that their farm team stays top 5. So it's a very well-run organization, very well-coached team, obviously, a well-managed team, and a sound business over there. So they do a great job. But some of the needs, and I'm looking at my baseball book here, I've identified our bullpen, clearly third base, and outfield. They do have depth, obviously, but there are players either on this serious downturn or the decline, or free agents that likely aren't going to come back, or a 50-50 chance. Starting with the bullpen, Kenley Jansen, their closer, is clearly on the decline. Urias would not be closing the game; it would normally be Jansen, but you have guys like Urias too, who's a young kid who can go out and throw multiple innings as a starter or a long reliever, and that's exactly what he did. But their normal closer over the past half decade plus wasn't in there, and that's for a reason. He's on a clear decline. So, I think they should bring in somebody like a Blake Treinen or a Liam Hendricks, a power arm in the bullpen, to give them some depth, give them a little bit of extra protection, especially at that level when they're playing teams at that level, And you want to protect that bullpen from somebody who's declining. There's always somebody who's going to be on the decline. You just can't predict it, but it happens. Third base, Justin Turner. He's 36, I think now, but he's been with them for a long time. He's one of the faces of the franchise, but he's a free agent. So we don't know. I personally think he's going to move on, but I think they should re-sign him. Or in a more crazy scenario, trade for a shortstop and then move Seager over to third base. And then if they do something like that, it would be like an Uber team. The crazy thing about that is there's some top shortstops in baseball that are all going to, 3 of them are all going to be free agents after 2021. Francisco Lindor, Trevor Story, and Javier Baez. Either one of them would be gold mine in the Dodgers. But if they want to make it, if they want to try to attempt to repeat, now's the time to potentially use some of that farm prospect capital to acquire one of those shortstops. And if you did that and brought Seager over to third base, you're getting a hell of a lot younger at third base while maintaining youth at shortstop, and the team just got better. And that would just make him sick, crazy good. So, but if that doesn't happen, at the very least, I think they should re-sign Justin Turner, give him a 1 or 2 year deal, and let him, be there because he has been clutch for them. He's done great things there. Outfield, Jock Peterson's a free agent now. They have that young depth out there, and I think they should bring back Peterson. He was clutch, particularly in the postseason, and I think it would be a good idea for them to bring him back. But we'll see what happens there too. I mean, it can't hurt having veteran depth. He's, I think, 30 years old. He's got plenty of good years ahead of him, and I think it would be good for him to stay there. Now, those are the three positions, okay? Bullpen, third base / shortstop, but more third base, and outfield. What do I think they'll actually do? I actually think this is going to be this offseason they're going to continue their trend of making a big trade. And instead of bringing in a Treinen or a Liam Hendriks, I actually think they're going to acquire Josh Hader from the Milwaukee Brewers, which would make them crazy good. That bullpen crazy good. And this is where you can give up, two solid prospects or something like that, or two solid and a marginal, or one solid, whatever. They have what it takes to get a Josh Hader. And you add Josh Hader to that bullpen, and you throw in a power lefty in there, you just throw a whole nother dynamic. You add him with Urias and the rest of those guys, and replacing somebody like Treinen. Even though bringing in Treinen would be just fine too, but I see them making an upgrade and bringing in Josh Hader via trade. Third base, I actually see them waiting until the following year to maybe sign one of those shortstops. And they have to obviously allocate money for Seager and Bellinger and stuff like that in the near future, and some of these other guys, and Bueller and stuff like that. But I can see them bringing in somebody like Brock Holt, former Red Sox transplant, be a solid player. He's younger than Justin Turner. And it'll be I think third base will be a marginal move, and I think the following year they'll probably sign one of those top shortstops and then move Seager over to third base. That's what my longer term eye tells me, but we'll see. It's the Dodgers; they can pretty much do whatever they want. So, and they're very well run. So, I don't see this being really an issue for them. And in terms of outfield, I actually see them letting Jock Peterson walk, and just bringing in a depth piece or just letting their young kids play. They're going to be totally fine, but they can bring in somebody, even like a Robbie Grossman or a Jerkson Profar. That he can play multiple positions. Doesn't have to be. Not every move has to be sexy. I think the sexy move is going to be Josh Hader. We finally get moved this offseason. A lot of teams would do well to get Josh Hader, but I think he'll be wearing Dodger blue and white in 2021. And again, that's going to be a sexy move in my opinion. And then they'll make a couple of incremental moves, which they're really good at doing too. And the guys come over there and they play well, keeping Kike Hernandez and some of these other guys. I see them keeping a few of their guys, and then just bringing in some depth pieces, and putting themselves in a position again to run for a repeat world championship. They're set up for the next 5-10 years, the way that they're constructed and the guys that they have. You still have some guys on the upswing. They're just going to get better. And, and again, even if they did trade for a top shortstop, make a maneuver team, I can see them making incremental moves, bringing in this power reliever, and then in the following season, signing a top shortstop without having to forfeit top prospects, because they've done so for Hader. So this gives them an opportunity to do that and only give up whatever was going to be the qualifying offer pick. So instead of doing it, dumping top prospects twice, either this year or one this year and next year, I see them doing a big move via trade this year and a big signing next year, and still putting themselves in a position to win multiple championships over the next bunch of years. So that's what my crystal ball tells me the Dodgers are going to do. Again, they're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be one of the World Series favorites again. And remember, David Price comes back next year. He opted out because of COVID, so they're gonna have another rotation on without having to sign one or trade for one and stuff like that. So they have another starter there too, which you bring in Price back, and then you have Hader, or even bringing Trina back. You just boosted your pitching regardless. So that's the Dodgers. Hope you enjoyed this. Hit that thumbs up if you did. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. I'm going to move over to the American League West. And the team, I'm going to look at my book here. The team I'm going to do are the Los Angeles Angels. I'm going to stay in LA. And so keep an eye out for that. That's going to be my next video. It's going to be one video per day, each team, over the next 30 days. Okay? So look out for them. Be safe. Take care of each other. And I'll talk to you then.